This young lady is no surprise to our call. She's a wonderful. We enjoy her. She said today she's going to come full circle since today is the last of the month for her and the last of the month for a lot of us. Well, for the call. She's a community leader. She's also a board member for the Chamber of Commerce in her part of the country up in Northern California. She also takes care of her dad. Her and her husband own several businesses. And she made regional vice president, I think, in a year or two. And with that said, can we give a warm welcome to another young lady we all come to love, the regional vice president, Miss Keri Roeder.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am so incredibly excited and honored again to be on this call. You know, everyone who has ever heard me talk about Mr. Thomas, I just could go on and on and on for hours and days about just how much we love and respect him, and just his leadership is tremendous. And he is actually part of my inspiration for this month that he invited me on, what I was talking about. So today I am going to come full circle, but I want to point something out. Mr. Thomas did not become a senior vice president overnight. Mr. Thomas did not become a top producing senior vice president overnight. What it took consistent effort over a long enough period of time, and he was able to generate the success that we all are looking for. So we're going to talk about my full circle concept here, okay? So many of you, you saw my wheel, right? We talked about the wheel, and if you're not in balance, it can't roll, right? Well, what we're going to talk about today is more about, well, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about, but first I need to get your mindset right, okay? So here's kind of what I want to talk to you about. This is where you are, and this is where you want to go, correct? Wherever your goal is, whether it's RD, RVP, top producing SVP like Mr. Thomas, this is where you are. No matter where you're starting, this is where you want to go. This is the junk I'm talking about, right in the middle, okay? That's the junk I'm talking about. And I have notes that I want to share with you from a book that Mr. Larry Raskin had us read called U Squared. And some of you have read it, but I'm going to pull some highlights out of it to get your mindset right so I can talk about the subject I want to make this whole thing full circle about, okay? So every day, do something that you can put in that chat, what it was you did in every topic Mr. Thomas asks about, every single day. Okay, here's some quotes from U Squared. More of the same gets you more of the same, okay? We need to employ new behaviors. We should abandon our excuses. We need to go beyond what's familiar. We need to go beyond our comfort zone. That's what I was talking about with the wheel. So when your wheel is in motion, even if it's wonky, right? It's not quite all balanced, no worries, at least it's in motion. If your wheel can't even go into motion because one of those spokes is so off balance, you can't even go into wonky motion, that's where we need to become who we are. And most of the time that is through personal development. So here's a quote from the book. If you're not experiencing any fear or anxiety, then you're not taking any risks. Show the plan. Show the plan, 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 show the plan. Seek failure. Fail, right? Exactly, Sam. Seek failure. See, failure builds muscles. It builds the muscles like when we're working out, right? It's like today, every morning when I go into my walk jog and I don't want to, I'm like, but every step gets you back in shape, Keri, right? When you show the plan, you seek failure. Here's what I tell my team. I want you to call me and tell me about the most chaotic presentations you've ever experienced tonight, because when you're telling me the weird things that happens, it means you're in motion, showing the plan, showing the plan, showing the plan. I mean, I could on another call tell you about some PBRs where people were drinking beers, dogs were running through chasing cats, babies were rattling the paper, like it was chaos. But you know what? Who cared? I was in a living room showing a plan and people were getting started. So make sure that you show the plan and you seek failure. Okay, here's a good one from the book. Getting ready is a stall tactic, an act of anxiety, a con game you're playing with yourself. Stop getting ready. Just show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. You cannot say the right thing to the wrong person and the wrong thing to the right person. However, we're going to talk about showing up in a professional capacity, and back to the reason why I talked about the wheel. Oops, sorry, let me fix that. I'll tell you why that was up in a second. Okay, never mind. There it is. Okay, so this is a good one to write down from the book. Act as if success is certain. Act as if success is certain. Focus on the possibilities rather than the obstacles. Hey, you guys, act like an SVP. When you act like an SVP, we have a saying. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. When you act like an SVP, you do the work that it takes, you will have what it is we seek. Okay, another quote from the book. You don't need to know how to get where you're going, okay? Back to this. You don't need to know all of the details in here. You just need to know what this is. It doesn't matter where you're starting. It matters where you're going. This is going to develop organically, however it develops, which we'll talk about. So set goals, and I'm telling you, set goals and organically allow your team to develop. We have a saying in ACN that some of you probably haven't heard, and it'll probably upset you, but I'm going to say it anyway, Mr. Thomas. Those who got you to executive team leader are likely not the ones who get you to regional coordinator. And the ones that get you to regional coordinator are likely not the ones that get you to RD. And those who get you to RD are not necessarily the ones that get you to RVP, so on and so forth. Just organically, don't worry about the muck and the guck in the middle. Don't worry about it, right? Mr. Tony Kubitz trains us on that all the time. Here's a good one from the book. Most people confuse wishing and wanting with pursuing. Most people confuse wishing and wanting with pursuing. See, wishing and wanting is goal setting. I want to be an RD. I want to be an RVP. Well, pursuing is show the plan, 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 show the plan. Don't worry about the muck in the guck in between. This is pursuing, right? This is wishing and wanting. This is pursuing. So we're going to talk about pursuing today. Now, in the book, he talks about going from a striped caterpillar to a monarch butterfly. Going from a striped caterpillar, where you are now, to a monarch butterfly, you have to push through. You have to push through whatever is holding you back. So, to tell you the story of why we're going to do this today, can I get this? You're all going to wonder what's going on in my background. Now, here's the story of Keri, okay? So I got started this month in 2010, May 4th, 2010, okay? Now, U squared. I don't have it in front of me. U squared, somebody will probably show it. It's a gray, silver, skinny little book, U squared. Anyways, okay, so here's what ended up happening. I got started May 4th, 2010. It was a Tuesday or Sunday, whatever. I didn't have time to do this thing, okay? What ended up happening for me was I was kind of plugging in, had a couple PBRs, went to a training, great. On a Tuesday night in June, I was driving home and something happened to me that Tuesday night. So back then, the regional director position was called team coordinator, okay? So what ended up happening for me was I saw that position and I saw the money and I realized that's a position I need in order for this to be worth my time, in order for me to take care of my family. So that night, on that Tuesday night, I drove home making a decision. This is what I was going to do. So I called up the woman who presented the business and was my mentor, who I hadn't utilized her yet, Mrs. Renee Wagner. And I called her up, and the short version of the story was basically, I need the team coordinator thing. What do I need to do? Short version of the story. Later, Mr. Thomas, I can tell you, later, another time I could tell that story. It was powerful, but she told me I needed to go to Cleveland, Ohio in 11 days. And so, because that was the next international. Short version is I went to Cleveland, Ohio by myself, and 11 days later, I made that sacrifice. It was the best experience of my life. I returned around September. I brought 5 people with me, but I had made a goal. I made a goal to get to that position. So then that December, I brought 25 people with me, and I stood there. Thank you, Catherine. I stood there, and we were in this big, huge team meeting, and somebody said, you know, who's brave enough to say their goals? And I don't know why, but I stood up, and I'm all, me, I'm gonna hit team coordinator, blah, blah, blah. And so at that point, now I publicly announced it, so I'm gonna do it. Well, I ended up, and this is gonna come to my training today. I ended up hitting team coordinator at the end of January 2011 with 2 days left to go. And back then you had to get a minimum number of people qualified in order to get a bonus. I got a bonus, okay, 2 days. I was a team coordinator February through December in 2011 with so much momentum. I hit company top producer, and they sent us on an incentive trip to New Orleans. I outproduced the thousands of other people who were already in my position. Then what ended up happening was the following January, we promoted to the position called regional director, which is today's regional director, sort of ish, right? Anyway, I hit that position in momentum, in top production the whole time in all 3 categories: customers, business partners, and registration for the next event. We hit regional vice president, our organization did, a year or 2 later. So in 3.5 years, we hit RVP. Now, I'm not telling you exactly momentum. I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you because this is my story. I am telling you this because this is why I was wanting to talk about those other things so that this could come full circle for you. What we're going to talk about is, this is how I did it. This is not how everybody does it, but this is how I did it, okay? Now, we're going to talk about going retro ACN, okay? We're going to talk about going back to in-person events. For those of you who are ready, in-person events. Now, you're wondering why I'm standing, probably, right? You're wondering why I have my camera set up today where it's my living room with my TV, got the ACN video going. Here's why. I want you to visualize me in your living room right now and your new IBO, or I want you to visualize you even better in your new IBO's living room. See, I know other leaders have talked about recruiting and all that. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about once you get your next person started, what to do then. Now, the presentation, I'm not going to teach you how to do a presentation. Mr. Al Thomas does that. Do what he coaches you to do. Why I did the whole circle and all that wheel stuff is because we're not top producing senior vice presidents. What we need to stand in front of the room as if, okay? So here's what I ended up doing when I made that decision. Actually, so here's my notes. Got to follow my notes so I can stay on time here. Okay. Present with confidence. The purpose of the wheel was to figure out what areas of your life are mucking you up, because when you stand in front of the room, if you can't stand with confidence, maybe not confidence in you yet in ACN, but definitely confidence in the company and definitely confidence in the in your leadership, I want you to stand with confidence. The reason why I want you to go to in-person is you can see me moving around, right? I'm engaging. And when people are in person, you can look people dead in the eye. You can engage with them. You can shake their hand. I want you to, when you do in person, I want you to hold the presentation. This is paper. We have a paper presentation for those of you who've gotten started during the pandemic. We have a paper presentation. I want you to hold it facing the crowd and point. You should know this by heart. Point, glance at it, point, glance at it, point, but show it to the crowd. Okay, but not too much. Okay, so here's the thing. I stood with confidence, and I'm not going to go over again this presentation, but I will give you a couple of hints of what I did to get in that momentum to hit regional vice president. By the way, I will reiterate one more time, this conversation I'm having with you, I'm also having with myself. Okay, I have a goal to put my husband's position to regional vice president by December 24th, 2024. How I came up with that, I don't know, other than God said that was the date. Okay, but that is my goal. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm going back to the very beginning of 2010, May, June of 2010, just like I did then. So no matter where you are in the compensation plan, no matter how long you've been in, you get to start fresh. Mr. Provenzano years ago gave me some magical dust. So I'm going to sprinkle it all on all of you. It's a new start date dust. Okay, so you all get to choose a new start date, and you get to choose where you are and where you want to go. And the muck and the guck in between, I want chaos. I want failure. I want you to have PBRs that just were, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. And somebody got started, because that means you're showing the plan, showing the plan, showing the plan. You're doing the work that it takes. Okay, so the reason why I'm in my living room with the ACN thing up here is because we're gonna pretend like, there we go. We're gonna pretend like we're doing a presentation here, okay? I'm presenting, and I'm gonna pick on Sam. Okay, Sam is my new IBO, and you are all of Sam's guests, okay? And Rick is his upline, his sponsor, okay? So I'm presenting. Okay, I'm obviously upline, whatever, but it goes Sam, sponsor. Okay, so we're going over the overview, blah, blah, blah. We hit number 3, become an independent business owner. Make this relatable. If you're not a business owner like I come from, or even whether you are or not, make it relatable to the crowd. If you're in front of the room with a bunch of business owners, talk about that. If you're in front of the room with not a bunch of business owners, one of the things I realized the other day, I bought something and it was like, oh my God, that's for my traditional business. I was like, that's even more than what it costs to get started. Make that relatable. Okay, number 4. When you talk about number 4, personal residual income, please talk about customers outside of your own home. It drives, I'm going to say too much right now. It drives me crazy when people talk about, I got. This is not a business of fill your own services. This is a business of what customers do you get outside of your home. So when you're in number 4, if you're going to give an example, talk about customers outside of your own home, if you are, okay? This entire time you're presenting, you want to say us, we, together. That training comes from Mr. Michael King. Okay, in number 5, where it says overriding residual income, when we talk about we can make this money. I'm going to give you a little leadership tip, and I don't have time for this story either, but I got called out on it. When you say we make, 4% overriding residual income, if you have 75 personal customer points, it's all about confidence. It is all about confidence in front of the room. You have 75 personal customer points. You get to this point, you can say, listen, we get to make 4% on our organization. I make that. Let me show you how. Versus you can make it. Oh goodness, I'm at 12 points and I make nothing. Right? No, even if you don't make the 20% yet, no worries. Cool. Get to the 75. That way you can say in box 5, you're maximizing your income when it comes to residual income. When you use words like that, when you speak with posture, when you speak with confidence, when you say, I'm doing it, let me show you. People want to follow people who know where they're going. Okay, so get to 75 points if you don't already have it as soon as possible. Now let's go to box 6. Point with confidence. Here was my problem. So you know how we have these little arrows, right? I'd stand in front of the room and I point at that team coordinator and I'd say, I'm going to get here and I'm taking Sam and I'm taking Mr. Kubak with me. Whether you come with us or not is up to you, but I'm going there and I'm taking them. And here's why. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to take care of, matter of fact, the fact that my husband can't teach his daughter how to ride a bike, I'm done with that. And the only way that I can help that happen is if I help Sam. and Mr. Rick. So here's the thing, whether you come with us or not, here's where we're going. Do you want to be a part of this? Again, it doesn't need to be long, but it needs to be confident. It needs to be a statement. You don't care about the muck in between. You care about this. You point there and you say where you are going. Okay, now to end right? Talk about the training and all that, but I want you to have the confidence, right? The be, do, have. I am a whatever you're going for, right? Cast vision. Talk about the host. Listen, Sam, along with Mr. Kubak, is going to do something significant. There's 56 of you in this room right now, or there's 12 or whatever the number is. Listen, help Sam accomplish his dreams if the timing is not right, and become his customer. For the rest of you, come with us. Let's go. However you're going to cast that vision, you can't sound like a 50-year-old lady from California. You have to sound like you, okay? But cast it with vision. Now, I want to show you how I used to close in person, and now that we're going back to in person, here's how we're going to do it. So I want you to visualize, and I'll wrap it up, Mr. Thomas. I want you to visualize that we're in a living room and you're all sitting in chairs, okay? So holding this thing, right, casting the vision, and I say, okay, listen. For some of you, the timing's not right. Like I said, please support Sam and become his customer. For those of you who have questions, fantastic. We have a training we're going to invite you to. And if you're ready to get started, congratulations. We are so excited to work with you and help you make money and accomplish your dreams. But let me ask you all a question. And no matter how fast I talk, because I know I talk fast, this is where I slow down and I speak with intent. So you want to speak with intent. I start looking from the left to the right, every single eyeball. This is what I do, okay? So if not this, then what? And if not now, then when? But ultimately, and then if it's a short crowd, I'll go backwards, right? But ultimately, we're going to do something significant. And we want you to be a part of it. And then whatever your vision casting is. But that is my thing. If not this, then what? If not now, then when? But ultimately, and then whatever your vision casting is. Okay. Now, then what I do is this. I say, okay, you know what? I'm really thirsty. So I'm going to grab some water. And then the host immediately, that's their cue because we set it up in advance. They turn on the water, and then you have individual conversations with people. But again, and we're not going to go over the whole PBR structure, but if you're ready to be in person with people, this is how we built massive momentum. This is how I'm going to go regional vice president all over again in my husband's position, by being in front of the room, in front of people, eyeball to eyeball, speaking with confidence, not worrying about the muck and the guck that happens in between, going for RVP, right? You guys, nobody's suggesting you do this 40 hours a week. What we're suggesting is the hours in which you do it well. And how you do it well is you speak with confidence and you know where you're going. That is why I spent time creating that wheel concept for you, so that you could figure out the areas in your life that maybe you're out of balance, so that you can get in balance. When you stand in front of the room, you can speak with absolute confidence and take the people with you that are designed to go with you. So that is how I become full circle in my conversation, starting with the wheel of balance or whatever I call that. So anyway, that's the PBR setting. I suggest we all get back to it if you're ready for it. Do a hybrid, also do the Zooms for the people around the country, but anybody local with an hour and a half drive, get them into a living room so that they can feel your passion. I know some of you can feel my passion right now. Imagine if we were in a living room. This is exactly how I speak, with this passion and moving around and pacing and all that. People follow people. I had people say, oh my God, I don't know what we're doing, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it with you. And like, well, actually, you're doing it with Sam, but we'll do it together, right? People follow people who know they were going. So anyway, I'm going to turn this call back to our infamous, amazing leader, Mr. Al Thomas.